Do you know what I often have a problem with? Stalkers. But what I don't have a problem with is Stalker, which is the new film by Mark O'Connor, and we've just caught up with him. Hey guys, so we have Mark O'Connor in with On The Reel today. So he's going to tell us about his new film, Stalker. So Mark, if you just kind of tell us a little bit about it first.
Well, Stalker is a psychological thriller. It's about a homeless man called Oliver, and he meets a disaffected young teenage boy called Tommy, and it's about the relationship. He has to kind of rescue Tommy from his family.
I noticed throughout the film you kind of deal with a few themes, like there's like drugs, there's mental health, there's the economy. Like, did you mean to do all that when you first started, or did it kind of evolve over time?
It kind of just seeped its way naturally into the story. There's a lot of things going on in the country at the moment, you know, with the homeless crisis and the government cuts. And as we were writing the story, myself and John were going to protests and that kind of stuff. We were having discussions as we were writing the script, and that kind of stuff just made its way into the story naturally, like, you know.
Yeah.
We focused just on writing the story and on the character first, and the other stuff just came in naturally.
Yeah, I did notice that because there's a scene, I think, with a protest, and I was going to ask you, like, obviously, did you just make the most of that day where they were actually campaigning and marching? You got, like, John to kind of come in and just pretend to be part of it?
Yeah, well, we went along to the protest. I can't remember what it was for, but there was a big crowd there, like 10,000 people, and we just had one camera. So I wrote the speech with John the night before, and I was worried that he wouldn't remember all the lines. And then we arrived on the day. I was trying to encourage him to get up on stage, you know, because there was a line of people for the queue, and John got up on stage and made the speech that we did, and it came off really well, and it got a big reception, you know, a lot of clapping and stuff, and it was interesting. And
you went back and you started working again with John. You worked with John before, and you've worked with Peter Coonan as well. What is it about, like, that dynamic that you just love to work with them so much?
Well, it's just actually for actors, for me, it's they have to reveal something in themselves, you know. And I kind of think of it as that they have to show their soul on camera. That's what I like to see in an actor. I don't like a really structured approach, and John and Peter are two actors that can reveal something, and they give a humanistic kind of performance. And I met Peter, you know, obviously going back years and Between the Canals, and when he was in the theatre, and it's just that working relationship developed over the years. And then John as well, when he came in, I just immediately had that connection with him, and I just thought he was brilliant, and it just developed, you know, naturally.
And how did you find John? Were they true friends, or because I know you were probably friends with Peter beforehand, but how did you go about finding John?
He was actually outside here outside Film Base, waiting for an audition for King of the Travellers, and I was looking out the window. You know, I was with the producer, I was looking out, and I was saying, "There's something strange about him." He was half an hour early, and he was just standing there, you know. So I just thought, there's something strange. And then when he came in, we had him improvise, and he was really good, like. And then after the auditions happened, he followed me to the IFI, and he was asking me questions, and so I was thinking in my head, I'm going to give him a part, you know. But then eventually, as that developed, he got the lead, you know, because he was really good.
Oh, so he's just really charismatic, and there was something about him that you just loved.
It's amazing to have that, you know, because you're working together on the same projects, and it's just coming together somehow, yeah.
Do you know what I found actually really interesting about this is because, you know, Peter Coonan, it was very interesting to see him play like a gay hairdresser. He did that really well, and I was wondering if he was going to be able to pull it off, but he seems to be able to do anything.
Peter, yeah, he's a very external actor, so he all his emotions come out, and I knew he'd be able to pull that part off, you know, and the character of Rudyard is a kind of a sociopath. He's an upper class drug dealer, so when he was a kid he was kind of bullied in school, you know, because he had to protect himself, so he became very kind of aggressive. And but Peter's brilliant. He's you know, he's working in Belfast at the moment. He's brilliant on stage, and he's great in Love Hate, and he's a great actor.
Amazing. And also, the other bit that I actually really found really interesting about this film is that from the perspective of John, you decided to kind of shoot that in kind of like a red hue. What was that about? Why did you choose that?
Well, that's meant to be the perspective through his eyes, of the stalker. And red, I suppose, is the colour of the rag, the bull,
Okay.
And it's just got something about it, red, stalker, the psychological aspect of it, something about red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that also stood out, it's about 3 points, and the other thing was the music choice as well, because you kind of did classical, then there was a bit of like Irish rap, and then there was also kind of like pop music as well. What made you decide to kind of cross all those genres?
Well, for music has always kind of come into my stuff when I'm writing, because I kind of write thinking of the music. So in Between the Canals and King of the Travellers, it was all traditional Irish music, and I love doing that because there's never been kind of traditional Irish soundtracks. But Stalker was just something new. I wanted to take a new direction, and I just thought the classical would fit nicely for the style of film that we were making. And but then I also put a little bit of traditional Irish because it's an Irish story,
Yeah.